Welcome to the Actors Side today. So happy to have Rita Moreno here. You are the very first, or among the very first winners of the Emmy, the Oscar, the Grammy, and the Tony.
You surprised me with that. I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. And you will also hold the distinction of having won all four in the shortest period of time of anybody in history.
You did some homework.
I did, between 1962 for West Side Story, your Oscar, and then 1977, you know, at the...
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Tony's. So
Wow.
it's quite a distinction, and I do recall that every time they talk, now they talk about it a lot, that people are going for that, and they're actively campaigning to try to do it, and if, you know, and bloggers say, like, if he wins an Emmy, he's going to have all four. But when you did it, nobody had talked about it until you did it.
That's astonishing. But also, you know, the whole idea of a performer going for an honorific performance is kind of, that's so cynical in a way.
It is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens, though, and it happens.
And if it happens, it's, I mean, you saw my famous and infamous acceptance speech at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Pause, pause, pause. Good Lord. Pause, pause, pause. I leave you with that.
I do remember that.
But if anything, it certainly showed that I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, well.
I mean,
you know.
I really wasn't. I thought Judy Garland was going to get it for Judgment at Nuremberg. Yeah. But I had flown in all the way from Manila, the Philippines, where I was doing yet another crappy picture, playing yet another dusky maiden role.
Yeah.
So that was just astonishing. Astonishing.
That was an amazing, amazing night, and I do remember that speech.
Who can forget?
Right. It was so great because so many speeches now, you know, they pull out a piece of paper and they think, you know.
hate it when they do that.
Yeah, you know, you're so genuine.
And you know, I remember sitting in my seat and saying, if I should be lucky enough to win, and I honestly didn't, well, my acceptance tells you that. Yeah. If I should be lucky enough to win, I am not going to thank anybody because I was hired to do this job by people who wanted me to do this job and play this role. Yeah. Who am I what am I thanking them for? For loving my audition and saying, oh, she's the one we want for this. It doesn't make sense in a way. Sometimes it does, obviously, but not every time. And I hear so much of that, and I just always think, all right, here we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And, you know, thanking your mother or your brother, why?
Yeah, really.
What do they have to do with it? Maybe it's just nerves. And am I cynical?
No, you're not cynical, but your mother did make you possible. So I guess you could say that.
Thank you for what?
Thank you for
making love with that man. Please.
Hilarious. You have had a very long career, one of the longest active careers in show business.
Yeah, it's turning out that way, isn't it?
Yeah, really. No,
I'm 85 now.
And 70 years actively in the business.
Oh yeah.
You started so young.
I started when I was 5.
Yeah.
I was a little bitty girl dancing for Grandpa in Puerto Rico to records. Remember records?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And you just had the bug from then on, you know, was it?
You know, I think some people are just wired this way, honestly. I used to love when I saw how much he appreciated my little, you know, shaking my little booty and all that with these salsa records, I thought, I like this. I like the attention. And honestly, it's difficult for me to believe actors who say they don't like the attention. There's something dubious about that to me. I know that there are actors and actresses who are really, essentially, very private people, very shy.
Right.
But on the whole, I love the attention. I love the appreciation. It's wonderful. What you just have to be very careful about is taking yourself too seriously. That's the danger when you love the attention.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing a very famous singer doing a show in an arena, and she actually said to the audience after the second or third number, "Do you love me?" And I went, I was horror-stricken, and of course they went, "Yes!" And I thought, oh my God, that's shameless.
That is shameless.
Do you love? You'd be surprised to know who it was. I ain't telling, but
Yeah.
I was astonished.
Wow. No, I guess that's.
Which also shows how insecure so many of
I
us
was going
are.
to say that. That's that
I
insecurity.
mean, is that momentary "yes, we love you" really meaningful to you? Do you believe that?
Yeah, it's tough in this business for certain personalities, you know, that they need that. They have this need, which is incredible. But I don't think you could have had this career that you've had you been like that, because, I mean, my God, you know, you've done everything in this business. And when you look at,
Done a lot.
you know, from your beginnings, and you look at some of those credits, some of those early credits, you were in Singing in the Rain, the most iconic musical of all time.
One of my favorite musicals ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
It may be my most favorite, and that I'm a little small part of it is no end of pride to me. I love that movie. And isn't it a fabulous movie?
Oh my God, the movie was.
Doesn't it just hold up?
What was so interesting at the time, it wasn't appreciated
I
as
know! Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking this should be up for an Oscar
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, and it
And
wasn't.
no, it was just another Gene Kelly musical.
Yeah, which is just another Gene Kelly musical.
Yeah.
But you know, what a cast! And you are the last living major cast member of that movie now. That
That's
Debbie
right.
Reynolds has just died.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah.
Wow.
And that one must have been so fun to play Zelda and the
Zelda
the-
Zander. It was wonderful, and it was the very first time that I had been allowed to play a person not of Hispanic heritage or of a native Indian. I mean, I played all those, as I said, dusky maidens.
Yeah.
And when he put me in that with a red wig, I thought, oh, finally I'm rid of those parts.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Then you.
But I was so pleased that he did, that he just saw me as an actress.
Yeah, and that at that time, I think that, you know.
Oh, that was almost revolutionary.
Yeah, so great.
But you know, it's not as though I look so exotic either. That's so bizarre, all of that stuff.
Yeah, the Hollywood typecasting, and I know in the 50s, you were even on the cover of Life magazine
That's
with
right.
a very famous kind of line talking.
1954.
Yeah, yeah, and
that's when Daryl Zanuck saw me on the cover of Life and said to somebody there, "Get that girl. Can she speak English?"
really, wow, and so that's how you wound up at Fox, and
That's
of course,
how I wound up at Fox.
in another great musical, The King and I, that you did in.
I have to tell you a wonderful anecdote about
Yeah.
Deborah Carr. Like many English, I won't say women, but actresses, she was very ribald.
Mm-hmm.
She was really a bit of a rogue. She was wonderful. You know, it's like Julie Andrews is known for that too.
Yeah.
A lot of English actresses are like that. They're delicious and they're naughty, as they say in England. And Deborah used to love to collect panties with sayings on them.
Oh.
With naughty sayings on them. And because I was the only other girl that she could relate to in the movie, she'd say to me, "Rita, come into my dressing room. Come here." And she'd pick up her skirts, her Anna skirts from The King and I.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, those huge skirts. She said, "What do you think, darling?"
Wow, I never would have guessed that about Deborah
No,
Carr.
well, yeah, but that's precisely.
Yeah.
That she was just marvelous. She was
Yeah.
delicious. And Mr. Brenner had the potty mouth of life. I mean, he was wonderful.
Yeah.
He was colorful. He was marvelous. I loved watching him perform. And what a mouth. Woo.
Wow. I mean, when you think of those two movies, and then of course West Side Story, you know, you really were in these iconic.
I was in some pretty fabulous. You know, that also includes, not from my standpoint at least, not just musicals, but a great classic is Carnal Knowledge.
Oh, I know. I
Jack
love
Nicholson, Mike Nichols
Yeah.
directing.
that. Yeah.
That's a classic.
Amazing
movie.
scene too with Jack Nicholson.
I almost didn't do it. My husband said, "I don't." You have to remember the times. It was what, the 70s, the
Yeah,
early
71.
70s.
Yeah, yeah,
And I play a lady of the night,
yeah,
to put it politely.
yeah. Very.
Whom very okay. She was really a call girl.
Yeah.
And he'd come to visit her now and then as things became more difficult for him sexually. She would talk him into arousal.
Yeah.
Gee, I said that really well.
You
and it's
did. You
not
did.
even. There's nothing you can censor from
On a
that.
family website here. Yeah,
Damn. I'm very impressed with myself. I've been told by a lot of people that had it not been that subject matter, that scene probably would have been up for a nomination at least.
I think it would have been.
It was an astonishing scene,
Yeah.
astonishing.
It really was memorable. It's one of those classic kind of supporting roles, the true definition of that. You come in and you just
one scene,
do
one
it.
very long scene.
Yeah, it's really a good one. You know, it was interesting to me though, after West Side Story, which you actually were the first Latino Spanish language actress ever to win an Oscar. So that was historic in addition to, you know, winning that award. That usually is thought to open up all kinds of opportunities in Hollywood.
Not if you're Hispanic.
And that was interesting to me that didn't happen.
It was heartbreaking. I won that, and I won the Golden Globe as well for West Side Story. And I thought, finally, I'm all set. You know, I can probably have my choice of certain feature roles. Yay! And I didn't do a movie for 7 years. Now, I was offered some, but they were more of the same on a much lower plateau as West Side Story. Gang movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to myself, you know, I tucked my beautiful golden man under my arm and I said, I'm not doing that anymore. And I showed them I didn't do a movie for 7 years. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
It absolutely took me a long time to get over that, to being ignored that way. I was just poleaxed. I was stunned.
Wow.
And heartbroken.
And we all know you had a long relationship with Brando. Brando is revered by actors. And
with good reason. He was extraordinary.
Yeah.
He was not an extraordinary mate.
Yeah.
But it was 8 years worth of tumult.
Yeah.
And tempestuousness and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not sorry about it, but it nearly drove me to take my life.
Yeah.
So
it was a tough time.
It was a very, very difficult time in my life.
And you actually dated Elvis Presley too? Is that
Well,
true?
that was to make Marlon jealous. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
The two kings. I mean, I did it with two kings.
Oh my God.
Yeah. One time, at Marlon, I was in Marlon's house, and after he went to work, which is some movie. He was doing a Mutiny on the Bounty.
Yeah.
And I spotted some lingerie that definitely didn't fit me.
Oh no.
And I just went home weeping and crying, and this was the first of many of those. And heartbroken, devastated. And something wonderful happened the next day. I got this phone call. I say, hello. And I hear, Miss Moreno? And I said, yes, this is Colonel Parker.
Oh no.
And I said, yes. And he said, my client is Elvis Presley. And I said, I know. He said, well, Elvis spotted you in the, I'm just paraphrasing because my accent is lousy, but he said, Elvis spotted you in the 20th Century Fox commissary the other day, and he liked what he saw. And he would like very much to meet you. Would you like to meet him? And I thought about that lousy underwear. And I said, yes, I would. And even without social media in those days, our dates, I mean, got out immediately.
Yep.
That we'd gone out, that we were a very famous club, which at the time was the Moulin Rouge.
Right, sure.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And so Marlon heard very, very quickly. And he was absolutely enraged and livid.
Oh, the
The
plan
nerve. Right. So, but what was wonderful, he threw chairs. It was wonderful.
What a life. My God.
He was so angry. I mean, isn't that hilarious? He was angry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Brando. Oh, wow.
That's right. He was gorgeous.